The saying is the rich get richer, and the poor get poorer. Author, Prentice V. Johnson will be joining us to talk about key points for study and understanding, to avoid the separation as we enter the new economy, and his new book, A Leap and a Fall. Come join us on the Research Departments.
Hello, everybody. This is your Don for Research Shows podcast. Today we have Prentice Johnson, author and aspiring entrepreneur. So, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm great. Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good.
Okay.
So, we're going to jump right into this. So, first, I got to ask you, I know I sent a list of questions, but I got to ask you, you said aspiring entrepreneur. Why aspiring not already? Because I consider you an entrepreneur.
Great ideas. It's the success. So, sometimes it takes longer for some than others.
Okay.
There's legalities, and then there's the note of what success actually is. So, for me, it's not just the idea. Now I'm looking to become a multimillionaire, looking to become, past that, a possible billionaire status. So, it's a long goal and it's a long journey. So I say aspiring, absolutely.
Okay, great. And before we get into the next question, we're going to take a quick commercial break, so everybody hold on.
They say, Prentice, what makes you think you're an entrepreneur? I say, I'm here to help. I make you offers to provide your growth. It's up to you to nurture my value. I'm not just winging it. I use my natural instinct and I plan. I have a grand understanding and I hodl priceless intellectual property. They say, Prentice, how you think anyone can make it from homelessness to the top? I say, I'm a human. I'm a writer. I'm a marketer. I persevere. I am success. Truth is, I'm trying to transition out of my 4th time homeless. And I also do not offer the best price. You looking for the best price? You think Curious George. Do not think Heesh Worldwide Publishing. You looking for the best price? You think Dr. Seuss. Do not think Heesh Virologic Management. You looking for the best price? You think Momo. Do not think Lutentantainment. You want the best price? Do not think the Guinea Marketing. You want the best? First think perfection.
Alright, so welcome back. Alright, Prentice, I want you to tell me, what is a cryptonaire? I never even heard that term. I've heard of cryptocurrency, so does this have to do with that?
Absolutely. Cryptonaire, I'm certain that I'm not the first one to use the word. However, it is a connection with cryptocurrency. Cryptonaire, technicality, it's crypto as an asset, and a person aspiring or who has become billionaire status by way of cryptocurrency, by way of definition. Differently, I have a technicality version. So in my mind, I believe that as a cryptonaire or a person cryptocurrency, we at Gaining Asset need to be thinking of crypto as much more valuable. And so, I think of Cryptonaire at 100,000 increments USD versus a million. And all the status and everything involved at 100,000 USD versus a million. However, the economy may not think of that. People may not think of it in that fashion, but a person at point today and looking out further as to what's going to happen, the change in the economy, I think of the name and give it a definition. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I noticed that it was, I don't know if that was like a couple weeks ago, they were saying that it was some type of crash. What is your opinion about that?
The crash? Oh, yeah. Man, I believe that we are going into a recession right now. I've been keeping up on the videos and stuff like that, and my prediction. Man, I think of a lot of cryptocurrencies. I own a lot of different currencies, so I have a lot of investments. So I'm looking forward to the future. But even further than that, knowing that the stock market goes up and down, and we are still connected to the former economy, and due to the connection, we're going to see a lot of high peaks and a lot of low valleys. There's a prediction that we won't reach our next highs for another couple of years, and we're entering into a recession. And that is versus a recession that we just came out of. So, yeah, it's very technical when we start talking about the economy and marketing, those types of things.
And so, I know it's certain people that's really scared of cryptocurrency, and actually when they compare it to, I guess, the traditional stock market, like, for example, the New York Stock Exchange, what do you have to say about that? Like, I know it's kind of volatile and up and down and not as stable as those markets. What is your opinion on that?
Well, I say that right now is a great time to start doing the research. I say look into it, have an understanding for it. When you're thinking about it, think of technology, think of the future, think of stability most often, but do full research. When you talk about volatility and things like that, that is something that comes along with the territory. So, in my mind, I think there should be more stability in the transition. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but again, we are still connected to another currency. And so the value of the new currency is really based on the old currency.
Right.
Yeah, so there is a standard coming, and it's supposed to be flipping in November. They call it 222 standard, and there's, my understanding right now as we speak, 5 or 6 different currencies that will be known for the standard. So keep those in mind. And then versus the stock market, always think of stability. You think of revolutionary products, businesses that have names attached to credibility. And don't too much fall for the what we call the open go. Because there's in cryptocurrency, you have now 40,000 different cryptos. Some are cryptocurrency by way of coin, others are tokens, and then we're going into better definition regarding assets, and then a comparison to the stock market, and then there's bonds and all those other things. So I think for the newbie, Make sure you're doing your research. And if it comes down to making an investment, make sure you're talking to people. And when it really comes down to large investments, talk to a certified stockbroker, somebody who is serious about finance, people that have experience in this. Don't put money into something and not be able to lose the money, because you never know what's going to happen. Another Great Depression could just smack us in the face soon.
Right. That's what it's looking like. So, tell us about your production company, Roastbox.
Roastbox. Roastbox. I'm an advocate. Roastbox is a Facebook group currently with the aspiration of becoming production, comedic as well as dramatic production. My mission through Roastbox is truly to diminish hate. With that said, I believe that conditioning is a huge aspect of understanding. And I think that we can condition ourselves to have a huge understanding for what they call comedic insult, which is it's huge right now. All that digital, I think one of the greater social media broadcasts, roast. And I mean, I've had this idea for years and years and years. Finally, I attach a name to it. It is my niche. Love creativity, love comedy. And so I believe that being an ad-libist, an actor, writer, producer is truly able to go above and beyond. And I think that's also how the stars actually become stars. Taking it that extra step beyond the script. Roastbox, I think one of my love. So yeah, I'm looking forward to growth. And anyone who's interested, come and take a look. And you're more than welcome to come on in. I hold head-to-heads now and then, and am looking really to start penetrating the actual market, stand-up market, for progress in the production.
Okay. So, give us the inspiration behind the name of your installment, A Leap and Fall.
A Leap and a Fall. A Leap and a Fall, my book. I think the name actually encompasses the reality. It's an autobiography. And going back to the beginning, 2007, even up until today, A Leap and a Fall really tells the story by way of the title itself. It encompasses a time where I have a proven excellence, the great leap, being able to go from homelessness to a beautiful home, rent. It was a condominium, 2-level townhouse with jacuzzi and fireplace. And then the fall, that was a great leap, but the fall came about, trying to trust other individuals and, being attacked and then losing my job where I was making $20 an hour and then working 69 hours a week, bringing an additional $30 an hour in. And, oh man, the fall was so deep, going from the height of the economy, and then taking the extra step to just work for $9.50 an hour, and try to work overtime, but then not getting paid overtime, and then looking for more jobs, landing the jobs and then finding that those jobs are imperfect, and then, I mean, imperfect by way of violation. So, you know, it was over and over again, getting smacked in the face. I think 7 or 8 jobs till I finally ended up having to just give up. Right. And here I am in a position of the transition. So, yeah, it's the name, the tale. Actually, the name itself, it tells the tale.
Okay, so A Leap in the Fall, is that the book, or what is that?
A Leap in the Fall is the book.
Okay.
The installment, the Each One Teach One installment is the first edition.
Oh, okay, so it's like a series. It's a series.
Right. And then, you know, I have a collegiate edition coming out. And the GoFundMe is posted. It is ready for people to take a look at. I'm reaching out. And, you know, even every day, daily now for the last week, and happy Juneteenth, by the way, daily I am reading the reparations intro for a couple of hours.
Okay.
And literally, it's also an ad-lib type of thing. I'm not taking time to practice. Just going in there and reading. And I'm welcoming anyone, you know, who is interested in coming in, better readers and stuff like that, people that are involved in reparations, those types of things. Come on in and join me. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so my next question has to do with, there was a quote I saw in the document I was reading where you said the improper handling of violations in the American justice system as it relates to racism. I want you to elaborate on what you were talking about in regards to that.
Justice system.
Mm-hmm.
Justice, I think, especially African Americans, we are kind of trapped in a chess game.
Yes.
Let me give a picture, paint the picture. The top ranking entrepreneur, African or dark skinned individual of any race with the inclusion of melanin versus the top, not monarch, but entrepreneur in the world, there is a huge margin. You're talking about, I think, close to $90 billion margin. Okay? And, you know, if you include ratio, there's an indifference going on there. Okay? There is an extreme problem. Where the justice system comes in, the justice system has not been the provider. Now, we pay taxes on a daily basis. Right. So there's a breach going on. Okay, if I pay taxes when I go to the store, then I should be receiving the services from the taxes. And we as people don't receive those services. Okay? And note, have a mental note regarding, I have gone through the court system with true violations against me. Not that I perpetrated the offense, but I have actually had violations perpetuated against me over and over again in the workforce. Brought them to the judicial system and literally been slapped in the face.
Of course.
Not just once, twice, but over and over again.
Right.
With the claim of technicality. The racial divide, the racial issue is blatant in the courtroom. There was an actual time where the judge had the nerve to tell me, not in the early 2000s, but in 2018, 2019, that they don't accept digital evidence in the courtroom. I have brought pictures into the courtroom where the courtroom has claimed that they can't see the photos. What is any judge doing in the courtroom that can't see? These will
did
be
you
in
put
the
them
collegiate.
in motion? When you initially filed the
evidence.
No. And that's the thing. Because I'm familiar with writing court motions, and it had to be explained to me in the sense of, you know how they shut you up when you get to court? Like, so like you just said, when you're trying to introduce evidence and they're shutting you down, right? And they're saying what they can't accept.
Yes.
The key that I found, because I've had to go toe to toe with the court system, local court system where I'm located in regards to racism issues with my children, I have 2 boys, was to submit it in the motions. Like, because the thing about motions is that, especially if you don't have an attorney, you can put whatever you want to in it. And they have to read it from start to finish. By law, they have to read everything. So they can't reject it. Like when you get in their face, they reject it because they can. They shut you up because they can. They don't want to hear your mouth. They've been hearing stuff all day long. That's just what it is. You see what I'm saying? Even when you get a lawyer, your lawyer's shutting you up. Because I've experienced that.
Do you see these things in small claims court? Or are you talking about like tort law and when you start going into different jurisdictions? Because when they ask me for evidence, and trust me, I have an elucidation of evidence, so the evidence is explained. But it's not. They don't require a motion in small claims court, and most of the time this has been small claims, and then they want to waste they want to waste your time and reject the claim in small claims court and push it into long time frames where the person is unable to then retrieve another job and has to waste time waiting for years. But
see, when you first initiate it, right? When you first go to court, that's a motion. Like your initial filing, small claims court or whatever. I don't care what court it is. I've done just court with just the school system and, state court or district court or whatever. Your initial filing is a motion. And I'm saying that's when you submit. You don't got to submit all the evidence, but you submit just enough to shut them up to where they have to accept it. That's what I'm talking about.
Of course. I mean, in your claim, when you file your claim, you got to come with the technicalities, and you have to actually state the violation.
Right.
And so there's forms that you fill out in order to do so.
Yeah.
There's nothing that says to submit your evidence. And then when it says submit your evidence, and you submit your evidence, it doesn't mean that the evidence is going to go into the courtroom. It doesn't mean that they're going to go over the evidence once you go inside there, whether you submit it or not. I have submitted elucidation of evidence. Recently, I can tell you about the people that are in place currently in the apartment that I live in today, who have stood against me, dark-skinned people who know that their position, the place that they work is in violation, and have stood against me in the courtroom knowing that there are problems of such.
Right, of course.
The technicality, with the motions, with memorandums submitted, with actual links that lead to actual evidence that I can actually open up right now, this very moment, and
they wouldn't accept it. I see what you're saying now. So when you came with the link, they didn't want that. That's what they were talking about, the digital.
And so, there's more than that. They force you to spend money to get into the court.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I think that the game needs to be taught to people. I understand what you're saying, and yes, it's unfair. But I think if you go in there, especially without an attorney that gives a what about you, you have to know
that sounds like an individual that has actually benefited. From a person who has not benefited from the system, I say they keep telling us the system is for the people. Okay, and when I go into the system over and over again, it's not for the citizen; it's for the person, the business, not the people. And literally, we don't benefit as just citizens who don't benefit from that system. We don't benefit from it. I'm forced into a position to actually take stands over and over again and have proof and evidence, and not just once, twice, 3, 4 times, but over and over again. reached out to people who have been attorneys, unwilling to help.
Right.
Unwilling to go over that information, unwilling to sit down and this is how it needs to be organized, go in there with this and subject information without somebody putting money in the pocket. And the money that goes into their pocket comes from the business. And when the business puts money in their pocket, guess what? You're shunned as an individual. And how many people are shunned as an individual? It's the actual reason why people are in jail, why there's such large numbers, and only some people are taught this particular system and benefit from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get that. Because I'm speaking from being taught from somebody who was in the prison system, who assisted me, you know, and that's the only, because otherwise when I went to court, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. The lawyer's telling me one thing. So after keep going repeatedly over and over again, I think that it needs to be literal classes taught to, especially black men, in regards to, because the jail guys, they already know, because you got to know that stuff to get yourself out without an attorney. They got jailhouse lawyers in there and stuff like that. But I think
let me say it like this. I think the truth is simplistic. It's only one sided. They keep teaching you that there's two sides to the truth. Okay, there's two sides to every story. That is baloney. Okay, there's only one truth and one full truth. Whether you stand outside of it and watch for it or not, the system is neglectful. By way of a technical term, a tort called negligence. Constantly. Right. The racism that is involved in the system, the United States justice system, is rampant. To stand to make money. And let me also assert this. Any government official that goes into the government as a person, their first objective should always be the well-being of the citizen. Okay? Not the well-being of a corporation to validate value. Okay? Should always be. And with the change of this coming system, let me tell you, that people are going to fall behind. And there's going to be an extreme gap. You think there's a gap now? You're talking about people that are running to the $1 trillion. How is it possible for a people labeled black, yellow, any race, to compete when the divide is so large?
Right.
It's impossible. You're talking about an impossible feat right now. And into the justice system, it stands in the same fashion for the business, not for the people. And every court date that I've gone into, I think aside from maybe 2 or possibly 3 out of 20, there's been a rejection of some kind. And they will reject you right at the door.
Oh, yeah.
Upon the complaint.
Exactly. It's the way you file it. I'm telling you. It's the way you file it. I tore these white people up down here where I live. I'm telling you. I live in a racist county, and I grew up in an all-black county. And once I came here, and it was all this craziness happening, they was denying my children due process and all the stuff. It was so blatant. And
How old are your children?
My eldest is 16 and my youngest is 13. So this happened probably about 2 years ago, prior to the pandemic. It was really bad. I had everybody under investigation. The superintendent ended up stepping down. They had to get rid of the principal. But they were doing horrible things to these children down here, like coercing confessions. Like they was straight violating due process, and everybody was scared of the bullies. I'm talking about the grown-up bullies. Like they were scared of the principal. It's like it was like she was running a plantation. And I had a whole new different set of eyes when I look at black men and what they go through, because I have, like I said, 2 boys. So I didn't go through this stuff. And plus I grew up in an all black county. We only moved here because of pricing. It was cheaper. And so we down here with I'm trying not to be nasty when I say this, but what they consider, where, you know, we got the trailer parks and, you know, the poor white people, we're at the poor end of the county because it's really nice down here. It's just that the school system, it opened my eyes as to what we're looking at when a lot of black men and black women, once you get into corporate America, that's when you start seeing the racism, because most of us grew up around each other. We grew up in black areas. So a lot of people I talked to in corporate America, they didn't start getting called, you know, the N-word till they jumped into working with these white children who grew up in racism. I think, me personally, I speak for myself, I grew up in a bubble. I thought racism had ended. My father never expressed to me what he was going through working in the government sector. My husband never really talked about what he was going through working. He does blue collar work. So my eyes didn't start opening until recently, and I'm 40 years old. So think about it. I'm a business owner.
Let me ask you: was this a civil? Were these civil issues, or were they actual criminal issues?
They were both
criminal violations against the children. Or?
Yes, it was both. I had to end up doing a complaint with the Office of Civil Rights for Education. And yes, you're right. They're not for the people. I agree with you in that sense. But my goal was to stop these psychos from doing stuff to us, because I felt like we was about to have a cross burner on our front lawn. The way these white people was acting down here, it was crazy. You know?
Yeah, I can imagine. I can definitely imagine. There's always a possibility, and it doesn't have to take place. That's why you always have to take care of your children. You have to teach them that these things exist. You have to teach them to.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree with you completely. And there's another thing, though. I mean, and it's a big thing, because, you know, you did what you had to do, and you did it properly, and you should be commended for that. But there is no reason for you to be going through these issues.
Oh, you're right. You are
as of today, we shouldn't be having to stand up for civil rights. That's why they are called rights. Well-being should have been placed for the human being hundreds of years ago, and so you have to have an understanding for this mentality. Okay,
right?
And know, even they know. You know, you see the lifestyle that they're living, right?
I know.
Let the black folks stand up for that, right? Right. Instead of everybody coming together and just doing the right thing and making sure things are connected properly, let the black, and then there's a label. Right, and then so the white people are actually able to camouflage themselves, you know what I mean, and literally, you know, take, and then as they're taking from that person that we call Massa, the enslaver. Look around when you stop giving me money. You know, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to attack this black area.
Right.
Okay? And so you can see what you're doing to me, because I can do that to you. Right? And then it causes that indifference. It causes that separation. It causes that problem. So, yeah, you end up having to stand. And in retaliation, it goes right back into their religion.
Yes.
That cross. Okay?
Yeah.
Because as they're thieving and stealing and taking from people, whether it is nonchalant or passive, or whether it's actually blatant and in your face, that judicial system is turning around with a technicality.
Oh yeah.
And when you bring it to them on the technicality, you know, hey, there's a violation going on here. You know, I'm ending up without an income.
Absolutely.
They go right in your face.
I agree.
They go right in your face.
And the thing about it, and I was just speaking of this I was actually a guest on a podcast earlier, is that local government, where there were literally black people on the board in local government, they only do what Massa allows them to do. You see what I'm saying? So you're on your own. And once I realized that we were on our own, I went hard on these white folk down here. Like, where they had to understand it. I created a website. I went all the way hard. And then I finally linked up with a white woman who was already suing the school district. and she just let me know all the dirt. So I put all that on my website. It was almost like a blackmailing. I was like, as soon as you leave my kids alone, I'll take the website down. So they had to back up off me. Plus, they was under investigation. So even if the investigations were fruitless, like the Office of Civil Rights, basically, they all knew each other. So they're basically getting them to line up and making them do stuff properly moving forward. So in hindsight, it looks like I lost. But in actuality, like I said, superintendent had to step down. So they're going to let you win. You're just not going to have the appearance of winning. You can't say, oh, yeah, I won a lawsuit.
But see, that's the thing. That's the biggest, one of my biggest problem is the suffrage. Okay? Because whether they are the ones that attack the businesses or what have you, I'm going to report it. And I'm suffering through it. You're talking about years of time wasted. Think of the amount of organization that you had to have. Think of the amount of technicality that you had to seek.
Exactly.
Think of the fact that you actually had to make connections.
Right.
And then think of the individual that they're able to separate from all of those things, from the persecution to hey, you can't even drive your vehicle because you couldn't pay for it. Now your vehicle's gone. Oh, you couldn't pay your rent. Now your rent's gone.
Exactly.
Okay, now you're homeless, and then you're having to stand.
That's right.
And you're having to stand from the homeless shelter, and the homeless shelter can lie to you too.
Exactly. Yes, you.
Okay? And they definitely do not mind, and it doesn't matter the color of the people inside there. They have been coerced and tamed in the same fashion.
Yes, I agree 100% what you're saying. I totally understand. And sometimes it takes a lot of black folk haven't experienced it. I mean, to me, like I said, I was just as ignorant as a lot of these white people where I'm thinking it don't exist anymore. Sometimes it's like you got to see it. A lot of us don't believe y'all. And I'm being honest with you, Princess. Like I said, they hid it from me. The black man in my life hid it from me. I guess trying to protect me from knowing, or if it would hurt me that bad, because it hurt me terribly to see my children go through it. And so that's what I'm saying. I think people are not aware of it. If we all grow up in metropolitan areas surrounded by black people, how do we know? My business is all black. All my clients is black. My family's black. My neighbor's black. So I didn't know none of this was existing. I didn't know what y'all went through in police stops. I had no idea. I'm telling you, that's a whole nother show. Look, I'm going to have to bring you back on.
And trust me, it's not y'all theory anymore. Women are going through it too.
Absolutely. So let me hold on real quick. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll be right back. And I want you to give everybody your information. So hold on. We're going to take a quick commercial break.
Hey, I'm Prentice Johnson, author of fiction novel Lesson 1 and autobiography A Leap and a Fall, the Each One Teach One installment. Also, I'm an aspiring business person and entrepreneur. A Leap and a Fall is streaming at all of your favorite digital podcast sites. The Each One Teach One installment is available at all of your favorite bookstores. I've launched a GoFundMe campaign. The Each One Teach One campaign for reparations and to provide replenishment of the United States economy. The Each One Teach One campaign for RPRUE. We need to present the A Leap and a Fall project properly. Proper statistics and proper projection. We want to make presentation by both hip-hop and comedic tour. And, of course, a great intro to the college students. This project needs precise presentation. It needs to be accepted by the Board of Education and our foundations, reaching, studying, projecting,
retrieving and managing the distribution of reparations to the African descendants of slaves. We need to understand replenishment of the economy. So, half of the Leap in the Fall Collegiate Edition profits go to foundations who research, study, project, retrieve, and manage reparation grants to the African descendants of slaves. And of that half, 20% goes to fund the organizations, while 80% will be invested to replenish the economy. The other half is to start businesses under my authority and applicable business authorities along the way. What does this mean? You know the issue of receiving reparations? GoFundMe. You've been campaigning? GoFundMe. You owe reparations? GoFundMe. You own a bookstore? GoFundMe. You have experience in statistics and management? GoFundMe. You have experience in tools? GoFundMe. Now, I'm reading the Reparations Interim Report 2022 every day until it's complete. Come join me, 10 p.m. Central. I'll see you there. Happy Juneteenth and blessings and success.
All right, everybody, welcome back. So we're going to let Princess tell us how we can find this book and everything else. And go ahead and give your plug. Let everybody know, where can we find you on social media? Where's your website? How can we find your book?
Okay, I am Prentice B. Johnson. You can find me on almost all social media as Prentice B. Johnson. I have other groups, East Worldwide Publishing, Rosebox as well for comedians. Come on through. I am a Leap in the Fall. I'm an author. I've written a fiction novel called Lesson 1. A Leap in the Fall is my offer to the replenishment of the economy, reparations. In order to get it together, there has to be a proper presentation. I'd like to have a hip hop tour, comedic tour, those type of things. Welcome people to start coming together. I know that we have a fear, okay? And when we hear about stuff like this, people standing up and things like that, we start thinking of, the past. But we will never receive what's coming to us, what we are supposed to receive if we don't stand for it.
All right.
So keep that in mind. Know that the GoFundMe is up. Find me, Prentice B. Johnson. I am everywhere. The book is in all stores. You can buy an ebook. You can buy the paperback. It's there.
All right, great. All right, so everybody, don't forget, we have daily episodes dedicated to technology for seniors at 12 p.m. daily. We have episodes weekly, Monday mornings at 6 a.m. with the morning crew. Thursdays at 4 p.m. we interview entrepreneurs. We're always looking for guest recorded comments and people interested in collaboration. All those links and more can be found at the research department with an S.com. And just click on Research Shows Podcast. So everybody have a wonderful day on purpose. All right, Princess, I want you to give me 30 seconds.
And blessings and success.
So, Princess, I want you to give me 30 seconds because I got an interview in 2 minutes with somebody else. So I want you to give me a 30-second plug and say, I was just on Research Shows Podcast, and my name is Princess Johnson, and 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Hey, I was just on Research Departments with Don Williams. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys tune in and watch listen, if you're on the audio, thank you, Don.
Hey, thank you. So